Hey, welcome to another episode of the Building My Freedom Business podcast. It's Erik here. I'm your host, and today's guest is Marco from Wonderads.agency. And what they do is they help you scale your e-commerce business so that you can focus on the things that you're truly passionate about. And they've really niched down to pay-per-click advertising. So if you want to learn more about Marco, his journey, and his current business, listen to this interview, share it with your friends. And don't forget, enjoy it.
All right. I want to welcome my guest, Marco Julian. And I'm going to pronounce it the way I see it, Grishaber. It's possibly wrong. So Marco, tell me, how do I pronounce your surname?
Yeah, thank you, Erik, for having me. My surname is pronounced in German Grishaber, so you were actually very close to it.
Good.
That's
are you all right if I just call you Marco in our chat here?
Totally fine. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Marco owns a business called Wonderads.agency, and we're going to go deeper into that. But before I talk about your business, Marco, I really want to hear your story, because I understand you were born in Germany. You're now in Taiwan. Have you always been an entrepreneur? Have you worked for other people? Can you give a bit of a background story about, how you became an entrepreneur?
Sure, absolutely. Everything actually started out with my story about coming to Taiwan back in 2010. So around almost 11 years ago by now. I came here as a student, as an exchange student, and after graduating, I actually came back to study my MBA. I also fell in love around that time with a Taiwanese lady, and we are actually married by today. Good. So that was the main motivation really for me to stay here. And by now I have also built up a great friend circle, entrepreneurial groups, communities and whatnot. So It's a very lovely place actually to live. But back then, after graduating, I encountered certain challenges, like the whole work market here in Taiwan is completely different than what we are used to in Europe. In Europe, we have we have so many different options for locals to get good jobs. The work culture is different, the salary levels, the time amount for holidays and whatnot. So I had to find a way for myself to make a split between Taiwan, where I want to live, but also in relation to the work. I want to create a working place where I can grow, but also where I have enough flexibility financially as well as time-wise to have the chance to meet my family back in Europe. Yeah. And that was also the main driver to start up my first businesses back then.
Cool. Well, we have a little bit of a similar story. When I moved to England from the Netherlands, I realized quite quickly, if I stay in this job, I will have 4 weeks holiday. And if I'm lucky, I get a 3% salary rise a year. And that is it. And that's where my journey started as well. I need to create that something that allows me freedom, flexibility, but enough income to support the family. Cool. So you ended up in Taiwan. How many years ago was that?
That was 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
Yes, in 2010.
And before you started, do I pronounce it the German way, Wonderads?
I actually pronounce it the English way. It does have an U instead of an O inside the name, but I also call it Wonderads because it's just it's an international business for the international market.
Yeah. So when did you start Wonderads?
Wonderads, I just started it actually around 2-3 years ago when I was back working in the corporate world. I was working in the tech industry here in Taiwan. And that's when I got very interested into Google Ads. And in my spare time, I started to learn, and I educated myself into that. Not only from the books and from the courses, that was a great way to get started, but then I actually did some internships with other remote agencies. And I also remember that one time during Chinese New Year, which is like similar to Christmas or the holiday season back in Europe or in the States, which is here around 1.5 weeks. So I took that time, and instead of taking days off, I went to Bangkok, where a friend of mine is running an agency, and I did an hands-on internship for the entire 1.5-2 weeks. And after that, I was still working remotely then in my off time for his agency, just in order to pick up the skills. And we also created a very great relationship during that time.
Mm-hmm. So most people listening to this podcast are passionate about building their freedom business. I know I'm just throwing this question at you, but can you tell me, how does your company, how do you help customers improve their sales and their return on investment?
Right. So Wonder Ads is an e-commerce marketing agency, and we're niching pretty much down to PPC, especially Google Ads or Google AdWords. So we are kind of boutique, very focused. So this is like a skill set that we are very great at. We also have expertise with all the other marketing channels. So we are kind of a T-shape in terms of expertise. So we know a little bit of every discipline, either it's email marketing, conversion rate, or shop optimization, and so forth. But Google Ads and PPCs is where we're niching down. Okay. So we help actively e-commerce stores to get things going on Google Ads, including setting up campaigns for search. So there's different platforms within the Google Ads network. One is Google Search. So your ads are showing up when people are looking for the specific keywords, either they're brand related keywords or just the keywords that describe your products. Or they're showing up in Google Shopping. Shopping are ads. They have also additional images, and you can see the price there directly. And you can, when you click the ad, you will get directly to the landing page of the product to check them out. So maybe as just a quick overview, Google Ads is very much on the side of search intent for the users. It is very bottom of the funnel targeting compared to Facebook, where you are more targeting towards brand awareness on top of the funnel. Yeah. And so we're helping brands to get set up and get those campaigns running.
Yeah. So I've tried Google Ads, Facebook, and stuff like that. And you know, I think always when you're trying it yourself, you discover quite quickly how quickly you can lose money. You know, that's because if you haven't got that specific knowledge, but you're trying it because you're on a small budget. Yeah, that's been my experience. So tell me a little bit about if you start with a customer, how long, what is the minimum period that you feel you need to work with a new customer before they start to see some result, a return on their investment?
So the general rule of thumb now, without any specific further informations about the accounts, then we would suggest a timeline of 3 months, and then it really depends if they have been running ads before. Usually we would run an audit before we engage with a new client, just to make sure if we can help them by looking into the performance and see if we can spot some of the things that we can improve, quick fixes or things on the strategic level that are just set up incorrectly and so forth. Yeah. So if we find those so-called low-hanging fruits, then you can see eventually immediate improvements. But we like to work with clients for at least 3 months, just to have enough time for ramp up, especially if it's new accounts. Then Google Ads will need a lot more data. There's also an AI behind Google's algorithm, or the algorithm is an AI-based algorithm. Yeah. So it needs data signals. It needs a lot of data signals to be optimized and get better.
And people who are starting new with you, what is sort of a minimum budget that they can expect? That you know, I don't know if there is a figure, but what is sort of a minimum figure that you would need to be able to find out the data to grow that account?
So there's also it from a general perspective, it's really difficult without any further information, because we would usually go in and look at our tools, for example, the keyword planner inside of Google Ads and so forth. And then it's also a thing like generally having a higher budget, it gives you more flexibility. You can test out things faster. But if you are coming from a perspective that you might be, you're doing it all by yourself, or like what I mean is like you're bootstrapping your business, then we can also create and draft a strategy that works on a lower cost budget. So we can just set up one campaign after the other and test things and get you trying to get you profitable first before we then slowly expand. So the whole speed would be just way slower. So we're recommending anywhere starting from $500 per month, but ideally 1,000 and above if it's possible. Yeah.
All right. Well, man, that's given me a bit of an indication what to expect if I want to go down that path.
Right.
Yeah. So the title of this podcast, Marco, is Building My Freedom Business. And I kind of heard it a little bit in the beginning. You know, you're based in Taiwan, you have family in Germany, the whole, you know, when you hear freedom business, what do you think about when you hear that? What does that mean to you?
So yeah, what I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, when I was working in Taiwanese companies, I felt that I did not have a lot of freedom. The reason was like the holiday or vacation policies, as well as the financial benefits, they were just so low. As an example, when I started out in my career here, you were not you did not have any vacations during your first year at all. And then after the first year, you would get 3 days. I think they changed the rules. They made it more easier so that you have 7 days right from the start now, or something like that. I'm not up to date anymore. But for me, freedom really means two things, like location independence, that I can work either if it's in Europe or in Asia, or when I have the chance, and that's the plan, also going to visit some friends in the States, that I can just do my work from anywhere in the world. And that has been always important to me, so that I can also spend a lot of time with my family post-COVID, or now when everything is getting hopefully better. And the second dimension of freedom would be the financial aspect, having also enough financial flexibility to support my life, either if it's here in Europe, the travels, and then the family, which is in the planning right now with my wife, so that we don't have to worry about that, and maybe have a little bit more financial flexibility in order to put something aside for our retirement, or to invest it into ETFs and whatnot, so we can just build our little financial cushion on the side.
Cool. So I mean, how many hours would you say are you spending each week on the business?
So my business is still relatively young, I would say, and what I'm focusing right now on is to build my team and to dial it in with my processes. So we just recently hired a new account manager, which I'm onboarding right now. And once she is onboarded and she works with the specialists together, that would free up my time by quite a lot. But I have to say that right now that I'm still very involved in the business, because I'm doing a lot of things. I'm doing still a lot of aspects in the fulfillment, but I have this vision, and there's this clear path and way. And fortunately, my main clients, they're very supportive. in that way as well. And I have one client is also a good friend of mine and a mentor, and he's like actually motivating me and showing me the right way to delegate things. So I got quite lucky in that regard. So I think in the near future, I will get myself more or less out of the fulfillment, just overseeing things, doing quality assurance and so forth. Yeah. But then this will free up a lot of time.
Yeah. So I can see reasonably busy person. You're a reasonably busy person at this moment, but plans to,
correct,
to move away from that a little bit. So
that's
by
correct.
being busy, Marco, what is it that you do outside of your business that gives you inspiration, that recharges your battery? What is it that you do?
Right. Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, we have a semi-lockdown, unfortunately.
Okay.
But what gives me a lot of energy during that time, like it's not really a lockdown, but we are now restricted. So our social life basically got cut off for quite a little bit. So my wife and I, we have this wonderful morning routine where we're now going for a walk, and that walk is up to 8,000 steps. That was the maximum. So maybe like 6 or 7 kilometers. So it's quite a long walk, up to 1 hour after waking up early in the morning and doing that. Then we like to do yoga as well as workout, and trying to balance ourselves, and then very much into reading books and into learning from video courses and so forth. So then we have a dedicated day where we completely take off. We do some small works on the weekend, that like email checking and very light work. Yeah. But on Sunday we have our off day, and that's usually when we take the car and we go either to the beach or to the mountains, and then we would just also go for walks there, or just like driving in the car, listening to music and check out the scenery, which is super beautiful here, especially at the East Coast in Taiwan. It's stunning to drive, especially during sunset. Yeah.
I can clearly hear that you got that part of your life sorted, but I also remember you saying that there were possibly in the future some family plans, or you said that we're working on that, So I understand currently there are no children part of the family.
Yes, that's correct. We're not actively yet working, but we're in an age where our friend circles, they're getting active there. Yeah. So it's inspiring in some ways. My wife is almost the youngest in our friend group, so we still have a little bit time, but eventually, who knows, maybe starting from next year or so, that we're gonna look into that, and that would be definitely something for the next couple of months or years to get ready there.
And I'd love to hear that you and your wife together go for a walk in the morning. I mean, I've got a 9-year-old and an 18-year-old, and as soon as I've dropped the 9-year-old off at school, I live on the coast, on the sea coast, so I'll go to the seaside and I take 45 minutes purely for myself to walk and clear the head, get clarity and stuff like that. But I can't get my wife up that early. She doesn't like it. But I think it's amazing, because talking is one of the most therapeutic experiences. There's something about walking and talking together. Absolutely.
I love it so much. It took me quite a while to motivate my wife. I hope it works out. It's a good activity, a shared activity. Yeah.
Marco, are you a reader?
I am.
What is one of the last books that inspired you? It's coming off the shelf. What's the title of the book? Who is it by?
So this book got recommended from this client I just mentioned, and my mentor friend, his name is Davis, and he recommended me the book. It's called The Goal.
The Goal by
The Goal, Eliyahu Goldratt. And this is a business novel. So it's actually a novel. It's not like a non-fiction book. So it reads unbelievably smooth. And it talks about someone who is working in a plant, and it gives you really create examples about how a production line works. And you might think, okay, production line and this, okay, where is it applicable? I found it very applicable to the business that I'm doing, either if it's like right now setting up like understanding processes, defining processes inside of my business, and identifying the bottleneck in your business, like when you produce, for example, for me it's like producing banner ads, or I'm working with a client for doing YouTube advertisements, so we need to have a production line for those things as well. And it is written in a way, it's very easy to understand. It uses examples that even children could understand it. And it's just so catchy, this whole book. And it also has a part, the side story is about the family life.
Yeah.
Where the main role, he had quite some stress and pressure with his family life, because he was really under the, like pressure from his workplace. But throughout this book, he's meeting this guide, this mentor, this consultant, and then they are revamping the whole factory, and they're applying different metrics to the operations, and that changes the whole game. So maybe I'm a little bit a nerd because I studied financial controlling in school, but I highly recommend it. It's so catchy. I just read this book, 300 pages in 2 or 3 days. I just ate it. So that is highly recommended from my side.
So it's The Goal by, remind me of the name again?
Eliyahu, that's Eliyahu, and then Goldratt.
Okay.
Gold and then red with 2 T.
Perfect. Yeah, this information will be in the show notes for people that are interested in it. So what I would love to know is, where do you see your business go? What's the vision for your business going forward? Give me an idea on that one.
So the short-term vision would be to remove myself from the fulfillment. And this is when I say short-term, that means in this year, ideally in this year. And I think I'm on track with that goal. And then the next level for me is to identify how I can scale it. So testing out different marketing channels. Yeah. I'm in the process, for example, right now to tap my feet into LinkedIn, but not into just reaching out people and bothering them with messages, but to actually produce content and spreading like videos that I record, or some articles, some kind of knowledge and so forth. So that will be the next step for me, that to create a system that ideally brings in leads on a consistent basis. So I would love to scale also from a sales aspect. That would be the next step.
Who wouldn't like leads on a consistent basis, right?
Exactly, right? That's
oh man,
all about it.
Yeah, that would be my dream. You and I, we got connected through Superfast Business, run by James Schramko, and I know that you have only recently joined, but if you could mention maybe one thing, because I know you signed up for the whole year. What is your reason for doing that? What are you hoping to get out of it, or what have you already got out of it?
I joined like a little bit more than a month ago, and I joined in with the intensive membership, where I got to know James Schramko directly as a person. And I'm kind of overwhelmed and impressed with all the knowledge and the wisdom and training courses that he's providing. And it was great for me to do this step, because he was pointing me out directly to what training I need to look to watch. So I think James is a very knowledgeable person with a lot of experience, who definitely does not only talk the talk, but he walks it, and he did all of the stuff that he's teaching. So I actually just committed a few days ago for a whole year. And for me, I think I always think it's important to invest in yourself or in myself. And I think that's a really great resource or connection or person to have as an advisor, basically. And yeah, so I'm very happy that I did that step, and I definitely get value, a lot of value actually. I think that the price even doesn't justify the value that I'm getting.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. I love having him as a soundboard. You know, his feedback is always very spot on, and it helps me to move on to the next thing and to get focused instead of procrastinating and stuff like that. Last question. If you could mention one important ingredient for people that want to build their freedom business, what would you consider to be, in your view, one of the most important ingredient or ingredients, one or two, to start building your freedom business?
What definitely helped me, I procrastinated a lot with analysis paralysis. Sorry, I don't pronounce it right, but I was very long in a mindset where I was only consuming knowledge, and I did that. I'm a huge note taker, and I want to kind of document everything that I consume. But once I switched my mind, I can see how it is pushing me into a different direction. And I switched my mind in a way that instead of just documenting and kind of consuming the knowledge, tend just to really, instead of notes, now I'm starting just to take action points. So if I listen to a talk or to a course or something, then I just write myself action points, and then it's really about the execution. So that has been a great change that came to my awareness during the last couple of months. That has been quite a lesson to me.
Good. All right, thanks for that, Marco. Marco, wonderads.agency. If people want to get hold of you and want to maybe engage with your services, where can they go to? What would you like them to do if they want to reach out to you to say thank you for this interview, or just ask you a question about Google Ads? Tell me.
Sure. Yeah, they can go to our website, and they can either schedule a phone call. We have a Calendly embedded platform there on the contact page, or they can also just directly email me. The email is Marco with a C, so MARCO @WonderAds, and WonderAds is with a U instead of an O.
Perfect.
.agency.
.agency. Perfect. Marco, I appreciate your time, your energy.
Thank you so much.
And to learn from you where you are in your journey. And I look forward to further connect with you in the community. And who knows, in the future, when you have a family, and I do this little series that I've got in mind about business, working with, how that works with partners and relationships and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I'll be able to connect again. But appreciate you, and I wish you a really, really good day. Take care.
Thank you very much, Erik. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.